sa accountability. Kaya kung makikita natin, merong selective participation, kung sino lang yung gusto nilang ipadala at walang direktang kinalaman dun sa liquidation ng fund, yun yung pinapadala niya. So, kailangan nating makita kung ano yung nangyari at malaman natin kung ano yung katotohanan regarding sa confidential fund, kung paano ito ginagastos, no? Dahil kailangan din natin ng karagdagang batas para maprotektahan yung pera ng mamamayan.
Oh, okay. I think the father and daughter have the same kind of personality, shielding their own people. Why? Si BP Sara, nakita natin how she protected yung mga tao niya by not letting them to attend the hearing. Dito naman si former president, sinasabi niya, me alone, it's all me, ang responsible dun sa war on drugs. But kahapon lamang nagsalita na po si PNP chief at sinabi niya that 1,286, na mga affected ng war on drugs died and others were wounded, and yung iba naman po ay 219 cops were I think charged criminally. And marami po yung na-charge, almost 200 plus as well. And na-dismiss pala. Meron po na-dismiss, 200 plus. And yung iba, facing summary dismissal as well. So, I think yung pronouncement ng Presidente that siya po ang sasagot sa lahat ng problem ng mga lower ranks sa ating pong kapulisan, para atang hindi po nangyayari. And this is the same trait and behavior that are not now being manifested on her daughter. So, nakikita po natin yung pattern. Yun lang po.
In addition po sa sinabi ni Chairman Dan, kung may Davao model sa EJK, may Davao model din sa paggastos ng confidential fund. Nakikita natin yung pattern ng mag-ama, nakikita natin yung pattern na kanilang ginagawa patungkol sa extrajudicial killing at saka kung paano nila iginagastos yung confidential fund. Tandaan natin na ang Davao may pinakamalaking confidential fund yan sa lahat ng city sa buong bansa. So kung paano nila ginastos yung confidential fund ng DepEd at saka ng Office of the Vice President, binabase din nila sa Davao model.
In addition lang po, on the first point, yung the reason for their absence, I think nabanggit naman ni Chairman Chua na this is not the first hearing. We're already in our fourth or fifth po ba? And yet they did not attend. I don't think for all those hearings it would account for yung preparation for the OVP anniversary. With that said, in addition, even if ito lang po if this is the only hearing that they're made to attend, I don't think equal naman po importance ng anniversary. Every year naman po yun, yung anniversary as compared to a committee in which under fire po yung integrity and accountability ng isang opisina, the second highest official in the land. So for them to choose OVP preparations, which one could be done by other staff, I suppose, and two happens every year, versus answering questions po sa committee, I think mas importante naman po yung committee. So I think sa reasoning pa on that alone, parang nakakaduda na rin po talaga yung same time po nawawala yung mga key persons. With that said, on the second question po, yung whether there is cover-up of sorts. I think, like I mentioned earlier, ang nakikita po natin in the hearings that we've conducted so far, sobrang compartmentalized po yung OVP in relation to the CIF. And it would appear, based on the records, nakita po natin yung statements ng dalawang resource persons that attended were notarized by an official of the OVP. You couldn't help but think na baka coordinated po yung statements na ito. Kumbaga, sila po yung pina-attend just to assuage or to satisfy the committee na may resource persons. Pero yung pinadala naman, walang kinalaman about sa CIF. Ang alam lang po nila is the issuance of yung cheque, which is not the question at hand. Our question is, paano po ginastos yung confidential funds? So with that compartmentalization, nakita po natin, it seems to be po, they're protecting those that have actual knowledge of the fact. And yun po yung kailangan po natin sa committee. Yun po.
Thank you, Haji. We'd like to recognize Tina Panganiban Perez from GMA7 for her questions.
Good morning po, sirs. On the Quadcom hearing, bakit po canceled yung pagdinig bukas, and when was the decision to cancel arrived at?
Thank you for that question, Tina. The Quadcom chairs are already contemplating since last week to move the scheduled Wednesday Quadcom hearing, no? For several reasons. First reason, yung aming if you recall, no, lagi namin sinasabi kapag may mga witnesses, we want them to execute affidavits. Number two, even if they have executed their affidavits, we will have to vet them. No? Meron pong legal team, ina-assist ang Quadcom to interview yung aming mga because marami po ang gustong magsalita. Marami po ang gustong magbigay ng testimonya. Ang aming pong palagay, kailangan aralin namin no? Kung sino ho yung aming iharap dun sa usapin ng EJK, dun sa usapin ng drugs, at syempre dun din sa usapin ng Pogo. Now, because of the several witnesses who wanted to give their testimony before the Quadcom, we decided that we should maybe interview them all first. Tingnan namin, sino ba yung mas credible doon? And it will take a lot of time no, para sa amin. So, we decided that before we set this meeting, again, no, kailangan kumpirmado na kung sino yung ating ihaharap. Sino yung mga witnesses na pwedeng magbigay ng kanilang salaysay na ika nga ay may credibility. Kasi gaya nung sinasabi ko sa inyo noon, marami yung gustong tumistigo. In fact, umabot pa kami sa punto na yung isang gustong tumistigo, pagkatapos siya magbigay ng kanyang affidavit, ay umabot kami sa punto na kailangan pa naming ipasuri siya sa psychiatrist, no? Ipasuri siya through a polygraph test sa Camp Crame, no? Para malaman namin kung ito ba'y nagsasabi ng totoo. Hindi ho madali, no? Magpresenta ng witnesses. Kaya napag-usapan nga namin, kagaya ho kahapon ng hapon, na-decide na ho namin na i-cancel yung aming meeting supposedly for tomorrow, ngayong Wednesday, November 13, to give us more time hanggang next Thursday to interview, to set up our agenda, at tapusin po lahat ng pwede naming ma-interview. That is the reason why we had to cancel.
Actually, 2 days ago, nag-decide na kami dyan eh. A week ago pa, pinag-uusapan na natin, Chairman. And then suddenly, kahapon parang last night, para nakakita tayo na attend na raw sila. And ang problem natin dyan, we have already notified yung mga resource persons, especially yung mga galing sa Cebu, yung mga victims. And at the same time, meron po kami binibet na galing sa Isabela and I think one also from the north. And suddenly, naka-receive tayo ng mga ganong pronouncement that he will be attending. But of course, hindi pa naman po yun official na galing po sa former president that he will be attending on tomorrow's hearing. Unless and until that we have received any copy from him, then most likely. But it's hard to na makapag-ano na po tayo tomorrow because yung pronouncement and the invitation to other resource persons were already been canceled.
Dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Kong Dan. No? Kahapon pa na-cancel na namin yung aming hearing. At 6:30 p.m., the Quadcom chairs have already informed the Secretariat to send out notices to all our members and to all our invited resource persons na hindi po natin matutuloy yung ating hearing ngayong Wednesday, no? At all these notices via email, via digital and Viber notices, pinadala na ho yan kahapon pa lang. And wala ho kaming wala ho kaming confirmation pa kung sino yung a-attend. Wala naman ho nagsabi sa amin na may a-attend na sa Wednesday because as early as yesterday, we have already sent out cancellation.